Hi and welcome to my second video. In the first video I created the Helsinki regional traffic line A from Helsinki Central Station to Leppävaara in Espoo. Today I will create the Helsinki regional traffic train line K from Helsinki Central Station all the way to Kerava, which is somewhere over here. I would have preferred a short line, but as I have my reasons, let's put it that way, for creating this line now. While you weren't watching, I created all the tracks to the Helsinki Central Railway Station. I was supposed to include this on the video, but the mechanics of the game have changed since I last played it, and there was so much trouble and cursing and stuff that I decided to spare you from it. I also created all the tracks to the Pasila station over here. But now that the stations are ready, we can concentrate on building the tracks. And basically the start of every train line in the capital region is the same, from Helsinki to Pasila. That's it, nothing more, nothing less, just this. Frankly, the train does not run that way, so let's cut that thing off. It does run this way. Great. And yes, so I will be creating a lot of lines between these two stations in the future, now and in the future. The reason why this line starts from the very opposite station, side of the station is that it is another urban track. It's the track called Kerava urban track. If the previous track was the Espoo urban track or Leppävaara urban track, this is the Kerava urban track. And like the Espoo track, it will run to Kerava and stop at, and there will be lots of stations. And the line K will stop at all of these stations. I will also, once again, let's build a bridge here, build one defunct station, which no longer is in operation, but which I once again want to build, because I am a sort of a history freak. There will probably be quite many junctions and track crossings over here, but let's not bother ourselves with them just yet. Once again, I don't know how many signals I need per each stretch of track, so I will just create more of them rather than see all of my train traffic get jammed once there will be more train lines. And there will be more train lines. I can already promise you and give you a sneak peek that even the following line I build will be a train line. But after that we will switch to other forms of traffic. And once again, I have my reasons and I will reveal them to you later on. The order in which I build these tracks is pretty carefully planned, because I know what's coming up, I know what kind of lines are coming up, and I want to build a network which is, how would you put it, as intact as possible. So I will basically first build the main trunk train lines, then I will connect them, and then I will start building traffic in the city center, starting with the metro and going on with the trams. And after that you'll be in for a great surprise, because I'm not playing just with the standard game, I'm also using a wide array of mods, which means I can create forms of traffic which are not included in the original game. And that of course means buses, but we are still far from buses and we have a lot to do with this train line, so let's get on with it. And yeah, even the trams are still coming. So, this time we're not going to the left towards Turku and Ilmala, instead we're going to the right towards Käpylä. And Käpylä station is a small regional station here in Helsinki. Here we go. Back in the days I used to go on a lot of dates with girls who lived in this area, so I used to use the station quite a lot. I don't know why I'm telling you this, perhaps too much information for you, but nevertheless there is this information for you. And yes, even though I'm a geek who plays games like this, where you basically build railroads in a two-dimensional map, I do go out on dates. This means that even you have a chance, because if I do, so do you. There we go. And there we go. And there we go. And then we just add the signals once again. There cannot be too many. Yes, there can actually, but let's not get to that. The funny thing also is that even Kerava has been a crossing station. It is no longer the railroad from there is not in use by passenger trains anymore. But guess if I am going to build that railroad with the stations? Oh yes, I will. These two railroads, the one I'm building currently and the one I built in the previous video, are connected by a sort of circle rail built in the 2010s, and that railroad will also be built to make the traffic as realistic as possible. But we've now managed almost to reach Capula, and that means that we'll be creating the following station. And that station is not too far away actually. The station is called Oulunkylä. There's a beautiful old station building there. Of course, it's no longer in use as a station. I don't know exactly what is in there nowadays, but the building stands somewhere over here. And wait, what? And it is in some use. It's not abandoned. So this is a pretty straightforward train route. It's actually just the distance between the stations is a bit greater than towards Espoo. And the reason is, this is the old main line from Helsinki to the north. So all these stations have decades ago been used by steam locomotives picking up passengers, I think, because I think that's the only case possible, because they used to build station buildings in the 19th century. So back then these were villages north of Helsinki, now they're just regional stations in the suburbs. Although I have to admit, Oulunkylä is a pretty nice suburb. It's very green and sort of spacious. Now I have to check the maps, because I can't really remember what comes after Oulunkylä. But it seems that it's a station called Pukinmäki. I see. Let's just open these so that I can check the Swedish names, because I'm not really sure about them. So there, I don't think you saw it, because I opened them on a new or in the browser, but now I have all the, let's look at them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 remaining stations of this line, which is line K. I have them I have them created. Now the station of Pukinmäki is actually located on a bridge above the ring road here. Okay. And like I said, this is once again the urban track, which means that there is a high-speed track running next to it. Or there are actually several tracks running next to it, but the trains which do not stop at all stations use them, and the high-speed long-distance trains use them. And yes, there are also regional trains which don't stop at all stations. They're sort of, because the K train runs all the way to Kerava, then the R train runs all the way to Riihimäki, and the R train does not stop at the stations between Helsinki and Kerava. So this road is track is solely reserved for the K train and the trains I and P, which are sort of a special case, and we'll come to that in the future videos, because even the trains I and P will of course be created. I was actually surprised there were only around 12 stations left here, because I think this stretch of track is a pretty long one, but okay, it just feels like a long one, and I also use this stretch of track pretty often. Although I'm not going to get up, I used to have a friend living in there, but she was wise enough to move away because the place is not very nice. So there we have Pukimäki, and as you can see, we are already further away from the city center than the first railroad we built. Stretched. So basically we're not even halfway, and yet we are far away. The next station is called Malmi, or Malm, and that station is a pretty special one, because the old station building is located in here, and the railroad runs underneath it. There is a sort of a hole in the wall, and the trains have originally run through there. Of course, nowadays I don't think they don't, although the rail still exists. And of course we cannot replicate that in this game, but who actually cares? I will have to be a bit careful with this, because there is a bus route running on that road, and we'll get to that later. But that's later. Right. Now we will be concentrating on the trains. Previously it was easier to create straight tracks. I don't know what's happened with this thing now, but these tracks aren't straight. I'm basically far from it. No, there. So that's another stretch of track, and that's another station added to the track. And then soon we'll see. Well, that's a nasty turn over there. That the trains will probably run past it very slowly, but that's the problem of the trains. That's not my problem once this track has been created. We go, and there we go. And now we've connected Malmi with the railroad. As you can see, Kerava is over there, so it's still far away. And if I'm not mistaken, the following stop will be at Tapanila. Yes, that's correct. And the station is located somewhere here, I think, because they're always located in similar places, between roads, and so on. And here we go. This is fairly straight stretch of track until the highways come, restricting its space and movement. But there was a very quick route to create, as you can see. And once again, I'm adding these signals because I'm not really sure what the game is up to nowadays. In the first versions you didn't need any signals unless there were crossings. Trains could follow each other without them. But in the later versions there start to be issues if you didn't create them. And as I don't know how the current version works, I'm just going to create them. Because later on, when the I and P trains come in action, this stretch of track will be crowded. Now after that we have Puistola, which is the northernmost station in Helsinki, and I think it will be here, and it must be here because there is no more room for railway stations before the Vantaa River, which is the border between Vantaa and Helsinki. So here. And as you can judge by the name, Puistola, Parkstad, Park City, despite its beautiful name, it's, well, not a very nice area, to be honest, but there are worse too, so that will do. Like I said, I know the region very well. I have been living in the capital region for around 6 years now, and I frequently use the collective traffic around here. But I've been a train enthusiast since childhood, and I can remember that riding trains was the most interesting thing you could actually do. And when I get away from the capital region, because of course that will happen, then we'll get to the most interesting parts of Finland, the old tracks and the old stations and the old villages which have seen no action in decades, and oh boy do I love those. But it's still a long way around. This is only the second line I'm creating, and as you can see, we've now come pretty far from the capital itself, or the city center of the capital itself. Line K is much longer than line A, but line A will also continue this way, and of course we will get there, but not just quite yet. Then the next station will be Tikkurila, and that's one of the large stations again. One of the major stations where every single long distance train stops. And the reason to that is that the connecting train to the airport runs here. So basically, if you come from Finland, anywhere else in Finland than Helsinki, and you want to get to the airport by train, you will have to switch trains at Tikkurila. Unless you come from Turku, which means you switch trains at Huopalahti, and then you travel to the airport from the west. But that is not the topic of today. Today we will simply build the K train. And that's it. The northern part of Helsinki is a bit more unknown to me, so I don't know very much about the area, but I know what's by the railroad because I travel so much using trains. They are actually my favorite way of travel. In addition to my own car, but using your own car in Helsinki is really not sensible. And like I said, here I go again, babbling all kinds of stupid things which have nothing to do with the thing I'm doing, but as this stretch of track is so long, I will just keep on. But actually, now I think I will have to create a point of interest here, because, well, there are many of them. I originally decided to do that only later, but there is a huge sort of, what is it called? It's not an adventure park, but it's... Oops. It's it's a sort of a science park, let's see. Let's put in 10,000. It's quite a place. No, that's 10 more. There we go. On the other side we have the theater, which is also a point of interest. What the hell? This is a cultural center, and that's going to be 500. Yes, now I think it works the way it should work. So all of these people are concentrating on, at the moment, on the station of Tikkurila. Of course, later on there will be more lines and more traffic, more stuff. The next station is Hiekkaharju or Sandkulla, which is located not that far. It's actually pretty close. I think it's here, so the distance is between Tikkurila and Hiekkaharju is really short. It is indeed right there where I guessed it would be, and this is also one of the stations where only the slowest regional trains stop. So there, and there we go. And if you think creating the train lines is slow, well, actually it is fairly straightforward. The issues will come when we move into the city and start creating trams. But so far it's very straightforward. No, oops. I did publish my first video yesterday, and so far I don't know if there are any viewers. I haven't had the courage to watch yet, but of course I am hoping to become a star with these videos, which is highly impossible because I don't think there are any people interesting to see, while some strange Finnish person is yapping and building railroad lines in the middle of nowhere. Now, the next stop will be Koivukylä or Björkby, which is also a fairly interesting station because it is the first station which is not connected with the airport line. It's to the north of the crossing or the junction where the airport line leaves the main trunk line, and it will be over here. That's actually a too long platform, but I don't care. So there, and the following station does no longer exist. The station of Koivukylä was built in the 80s, and that was when the next station I'm going to build was closed down, and another stop on this line was moved a bit northwards. But I'm going to use the original places of these stations because I want to. Don't ask me why. That's just my way of doing things. Like in the previous video, I created the station of Haga, which hasn't existed since the 60s. I will now create the station of, I can't even remember its name, but we'll get to that pretty shortly. And I can't wait to get the trains running on this route because this is one of the longest stretches of track I'm gonna lay in the capital region without being able to start a line. So there we go, and now we'll go to the old historic maps and try to find the right location. There is, I think it's the station is called no, we still have Rekola first, and only then do we have the defunct Hanala railway station. So Rekola Rekhals is going to be the next stop, and it's gonna be somewhere over here, I think. That's quite right. There is this small park, and it's right next to it. There we go. But luckily, oopsie daisy, no building yet. Luckily, we don't have a lot of stations left anymore. This is we're slowly reaching Kerava, slowly but steadily. Slowly enough, let's say. But we're coming there, and that's when this track will luckily end, because this stretch of track is already quite long and quite expensive too. I have spent more than 50 million up. No. That's it. So that's where the old Hanala station has been located, and let's see here. Yeah, it's over there, which is basically, how will I find the right spot? It's where the road to the left of the track turns outside, or moves further away from the track. That's where the location of the stop is. So it's basically, and it's also pretty far from there, but I think the right spot would be around here. Approximately. You cannot, I mean, reach for perfectness, because it's just comparing old maps to new maps is difficult. This is again one of the first stops this way which only has a Finnish speaking name, and it means we're moving further away from the capital region, because the capital region, or actually Helsinki, is bilingual, Vantaa mainly not anymore. And yes, we're also still, despite all the distance, we are still in the capital region, which is very large in Finland. Of course, smaller than in many other places, but nevertheless, we are in the capital region. Now, if you look at the second track we built so far, we are pretty far away from how would I put this? The distance between the end of this line and the end of the previous line is pretty much longer than the distance in the on the first line. That's what I was supposed to say. Yep. Coming to the next station here, it's called Porso, and that's, well, that's another place I would never live in, but someone else does. Good for them. Good for them. And now after this station I only have 2 more stations left before we finally reach Kerava, and that is a day of joy and happiness, because really I would like to keep this first video short, because I would like to learn to yap properly before publishing big videos and long videos. I am not there yet, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I mean, these are my first videos. I'm also practicing streaming. I must be boring as hell. Now, at the moment, the distances between the stations become a lot longer. The following station is called Savio, and I do not mean Savio Bortolini, the Real Madrid player. I really don't know where this station has received its name. I have absolutely no idea. But there is a roundabout over there, and that's where the station is. Great. It also does not have a Swedish-speaking name, but I'm not really sure what the name of the place even means. I mean, I have no clue whatsoever where this area has gotten its name from. There is a factory in Savio, which is the predecessor of the Nokia, which was the mobile phone giant back in the golden days of the Finnish technological bubble, which burst in early 2000. But that was 100 years ago, which is not very relevant anymore today. I can promise you, after I've finished doing this video, I will clean up my apartment, because I have neglected it for too long. For your information, I don't think you will do anything with that information. But there it is. So I've actually spoken about dating and about cleaning my apartment today, which both have absolutely zero to do with building this track. But hey, there is a person behind the voice. You may not know who I am, and you will never know who I am, but you know, I go on dates and don't clean up. I probably know you've guessed by now that I usually don't get to take the girls home if I go out on dates. That's 1 + 1, a dirty apartment and dates, so you don't get to take them home. Whew, it's been a stretch, but the final station will be built here, and this station is absolutely hugely long. The platforms are really long. I mean, every time you stop here, you don't know where to get out of the train because the platforms are so long and you're completely lost here. But anyways, there we go. And after building these tracks, it's only about creating the lines. I mean, 65 kilometers of tracks, that's around 32 kilometers to one direction. It's a 60 million operation, and when you have to put in trains to travel there every 10 minutes, you're gonna need a lot of trains. A lot of trains, I can tell you. There! This stretch of track has finally been completed, and we are ready to build the blueprints almost. We just need to build the small... oh, what happens here? Let me see. Okay, what about there? That's good. We only need to build a turning track at the end of the line, because this track does not really end here. There is a connection to, like I said, to another track which no longer is in passenger operation, but I will build it to passenger operation because I'm a history freak and because I can. Because this is my game and my save, and I can do whatever I want. And for some reason or another, I decided to share everything I want with you. Now, here we go. The crossing goes there. That's where the other track goes to. And now let's see how I would like to do this. Let's just get... oops. There we go. And then we need a single track which should probably go from here to here to there. There we go. And we need the signals, just in order to make sure no crashes happen. That would not be nice, would it? I'm sure you would not like that either. But there is the track. And when we build all the blueprints, that will probably lead me into building a lot. 63,826,659. Let's just write it down. No, that was 70,050,200. That was an expensive stretch of track. Now, let's open a new line. Like the previous line, the ticket price will be 3.5 euros or dollars or like whatever. And the train will also start from Helsinki, except that it will not start from Helsinki. And what is this? What is this? Something strange has happened here. Oh, I see. Oh, now I get it. Now I get it how this is done. I mean, yeah, like I said previously, the game has changed a lot. I really don't know how it functions nowadays, so I have to do strange things all the time. But now I think it will work just fine. Oh, no, it doesn't. But I still don't understand, because everything works fine in here. Yet nothing works fine in there. Well, I will perhaps have to start the line from this direction, because maybe I will get it to work then, that way. At least it goes somewhere. Let's see if I can add stops to Helsinki. This was an, well, let's say, unintentional what the fuck moment, because at least, yes, but the train does not stop there. This is something I do not understand. Okay. Now, okay, now it is possible to use it. I don't know what I did differently there, but it works now, so who cares? So now that this marathon stretch of track is completed, I am going to go and clean up my apartment as soon as I get the trains to run, of course. And the trains will run every 10 minutes, so this, like I said, this is a massive operation, and buying the trains, building the lines, it will be very expensive. And after that I create the metro, and then I will have no money left at all. Isn't that fabulous? Isn't that just about fabulous? Fine, completed. trains running passenger service, and then I'm going to buy train number 5, and that's gonna run line number or line K. And as the trains run every 10 minutes, I am going to have to purchase quite the amount of trains in order to operate this line the way it should. Or maybe not. Maybe I will get along with 6 or 7 trains, which would be more than fine. Anyway. Still need some. Now we are at 6 trains. At least one more. At least one more. There we go. So the final amount is 8 trains on the line, and that is it. We spent, how much did we spend on the trains? 70,400,000. Well, that was quite some. But line K has been created. Wonderful. Thank you. And next, what will happen next is that we will create lines I and P. Lines I and P are a circle line connecting these two routes through the airport, but this will happen in the next video. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye.